Okay. Sounds on. Good. I've had a lot of coffee, so
yeah, you might be speaking very fast today.
Yeah. Okay. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome to the Gerry and Scarlett Show. We're just a couple from Glasgow who wanted to have their own topical news reviews chat show, and so we're just doing it.
We watch a lot of telly. We thought we might tell you what we're watching. Basically, isn't it?
Telly and films and streaming things and all those things, and we list things and we talk about things.
Yes, that's exactly what's going to happen today. So what we're talking about today. So we'll do the rabbit hole in a minute, and then we'll go into the reviews. And this week we are talking about Champions.
Yep, starring Woody Harrelson
on Amazon and Apple. We are then moving on to A Man Called Otto. Is this the right order?
I've got Mandalorian.
We've got Mandalorian next. Right, Mandalorian next.
Series 3.
Series 3.
Which you didn't watch, I watched that. And A Man Called Otto, which you watched and I didn't watch.
Yeah, we spent a lot of time apart.
I was in Birmingham. Big shout out to Digbeth, by the way, in Birmingham, which I was just saying to you, like, I'm not going to do a review of Digbeth, although I did discuss it with you.
Yeah.
But what a brilliant area Digbeth is. It was like a cross between like a festival, like it's a gentrified up and coming area, but it's that old factory kind of place. Reminded me of where like Sankey Soaps was in Manchester and all these kind of old mill buildings and factory buildings. But it had a brilliant vibe, just super friendly city, really loads going on. Really recommend it.
For what age group? Because you guys are all 40s. So would it just be for your
40-somethings? Yeah, young 40-somethings.
30s maybe as well?
Yeah, definitely. But like all age groups.
What, even the 20s?
Yeah, I think there's the bars.
You don't hang out with 40-year-olds.
Yeah, but there's other bars.
I see.
There's loads of different stuff going on. So it's like age range. Just like if you're this age or older, you can come in here. There's still ball pits and table tennis tables and stuff, and loads of the bars. Brilliant restaurants. I think back on it, was honestly really recommend it. People don't talk about it. Go to Liverpool, Newcastle, all great cities as well. London, but Birmingham, thumbs up to that. There you are, first review. Wasn't going to review it and ended up doing it.
Right, there we go. So let's go into the rabbit hole. Should we go back to the original structure, whereby I tell you the start and the end, and you try and figure out the middle? Or
okay.
Yeah,
let's try that. Scarlett's rabbit hole then. So every week, Scarlett tells us the internet rabbit hole that she fell down. You're going to tell us where you started and where you ended up.
The queen of clickbaits here is going to tell you where I started, which was on the article, quote, "Mum and son get lost in woods for 2 hours before stranger saves the day."
Okay, and this isn't the plot of a film or anything. This is a story that. Okay,
no, it'd be a really rubbish film if it was.
Okay,
and that was on the MEN, by the way, so that's a British story. And then we end up on why humans are the most useless species on Earth.
So was it because they got pathetically lost? Is that the thread, like the way that they went out on a walk and then got really pathetically lost, and then someone found them, and that led you to what about the pathetic stories happen to people?
Kind of. Yeah, sort of. Yeah, you're not too far.
5, how close am I?
Like a 3?
3, I'll say that.
That's very good. So I clicked on this because, as you will probably... Why would you guess that I clicked on that to begin with?
So tell us the headline again. So it's...
Mum and son get lost in woods for 2 hours before stranger saves the day.
Did you get lost with their kids and you've not told me?
Oh, I get lost with them all the time. Oh!
That's the door, you carry on.
Okay, so basically, this is one of my biggest fears. I'm one of those people that does not have an inner compass. I could get lost coming out of a toilet. In fact, I frequently do get lost coming out of a toilet in bars and pubs. Don't know where I am, have to go through every door that I can find. I just don't have that inner compass. Anyway, so I clicked on this one because I thought this is something that could definitely happen to me. So a mum took her 8-year-old son to the beach before going for a walk in the nearby woods. What's going on?
An Amazon delivery. You don't get that on many podcasts, do you?
So you're not missing anything. A mum took her 8-year-old son to the beach before going for a walk in nearby woods. After walking for about 2 hours without phone reception or water, so she was totally lost at this point. They were totally lost. She stumbled upon a woman who saw how upset she was and walked her the entire 40 minutes back to her car. That's very kind, isn't it?
So she got lost. She started on the beach.
Oh, we're talking minimum peril here.
Yeah, there's really
there's no peril. But my point was, the reason that I clicked on it was because this is this is one of my big fears. Is because I just do not possess any form of inner compass whatsoever. That I wouldn't even stray off a path.
Yeah.
Because
anytime you stay at a hotel or anything, you're automatically lost when you come out the hotel, left or right, aren't you?
100%, no idea. I just don't have it. I wonder if it's also part of the reason why I get so travel sick.
What? Go on, give us that theory. Right, I'd love to see you connect. Never mind your rabbit hole, connect the dots.
I don't connect with my surroundings, I daydream constantly. And my mind is constantly clicking into different things, so I'm not clocking where I am or what's going on around me, so I get lost because I haven't looked. Whereas I feel like you
think you get travel sick because you've lost concentration for a little bit, and then you get back into your body and go, I'm in a car!
Yeah,
your stomach's like in your head. And your head,
oh my god, what is going on right now? Because I've forgotten that I was in a car.
It's a bold theory.
Whatever. Yeah, anyway.
Could be true. If you know if there's any truth in that, please let us know in the comments and we'll investigate it further.
Okay, probably not based on that. So then I was like, oh my gosh, I was like, I wonder what the most amazing rescues are. So that's where you went slightly wrong, is that you went for pathetic rescues, I went for amazing rescues. And I started looking in the UK because I thought, oh well, this would be more relevant. We're in the UK, blah blah blah. Turns out a lot of the UK rescues are fairly boring.
Yeah.
Obviously, there has been some good ones, but the best ones really are across the water or whatever. So anyway, the first one the only one I found in the UK initially, the first one I should say, that came up is 2017. A 22-year-old was rescued by Coast Guards after spending 32 hours adrift in Scottish waters. Cold, very, very cold. He'd been surfing in Westport Beach, which is not far from Campbelltown.
Okay.
And found 13 miles away, absolutely exhausted, but totally fine. So again, minimum peril. Still looking for the peril.
Boring British rescue feature.
Yeah.
In America, they blow up the sea and catch him on the way down.
Well, which then led me
only way to be sure.
Yeah, rescue clickbait. Of course, I'm now going that hole. So 2016, two Colombian men, getting more interesting now, George Morales and Dario Rodriguez, great names, were swept out into shark-infested waters.
Oh, now I'm listening. I like the names and I like the sharks.
Exactly. Yeah. During a scuba trip. Yeah. Scuba diving trip. And they were part of 5 divers, and they spent 48 hours, 2 full days, in these perilous waters with these man-eating sharks.
Hold on, the 2 of them were part of 5 divers?
Yes, so there's 5 divers.
So those people aren't interested because they don't have cool names?
Yeah, I know. I don't know why they didn't come up. Maybe they didn't survive.
They were the film crew.
I don't know.
Okay, so 2 guys with cool names and 3 other people swimming with sharks.
They huddled together and peed on each other to keep warm.
What? In the water?
No, well, people do that in normal life, let alone when they're like struggling to survive. So.
Oh, I mean, is that a thing? They just go like, oh, I've got one. What was his name again? Was it George?
Oh,
what was their cool names? I thought they were cool.
George Morales and Dario Rodriguez.
Dario, I've got one. I'm ready. Come here, swim over me.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. So they huddled together, peed on each other to keep warm, and tied themselves together to stop being separated. All very sensible options. And they were surrounded by man-eating sharks and jellyfish circling them constantly. And actually, interestingly, they said that the jellyfish were worse. Quote unquote.
Really?
Yeah, they attacked us. What pain, very intense. I don't know how many jellyfish there were, but it was very tough. They were saying actually the jellyfish were worse than the sharks.
Because the jellyfish were attacking them. I can't imagine.
Well,
you're not just swimming into them.
Funnily enough, this was the next rabbit hole. I was like, can jellyfish attack? Like, an attack, in my mind, would comprise of a thought process. Right? That's the collective movement.
Which doesn't normally involve jelly at all.
No, I mean,
except for a food fight.
Yeah, which is the best form of fight with jelly, isn't it? I mean, that's a great...
Okay, so jelly is a good weapon. Okay, we've established that.
We did actually fight with jellyfish on the beach in Donegal when we were younger, when we were kids.
Yeah?
Yeah, but anyway, that's a whole different situation. Okay, back to the jellyfish attack. So I was like, can jellyfish attack? What do you think?
Yeah.
No.
No? Oh, damn it. It was a 50-50 chance.
No, they can't. I think that might have got lost in translation from our Colombian fellows. Okay. But I did learn that a collection of jellyfish is called a bloom, or a smack, or
should be a party.
A swarm. Oh, a party of jellyfish.
Party of jellyfish.
I like that. Yeah, that would have been a good one, but it's not that. Are they smart?
Yeah.
No.
Oh.
No
50-50 chances.
No, they don't actually have a brain to process information. No, it turns out jellyfish are just rubbish.
Yeah,
They are the sea's mosquitoes, aren't they? They're
100%.
like the thing that you would slap down if you got the opportunity.
There'd be a marine biologist watching this, just absolutely raging. The same people that defend sharks. Like, no, sharks are misunderstood. Like, there's never been a shark that's eaten a person and swam off and gone, oh, I feel terrible about that. It's a mistaken identity. Yes, I know humans are almost sharks. I'm a bit scared of sharks.
Yeah, well, sharks are a key part of the old food chain, though, aren't they? Like in the ocean and stuff. We need sharks. I don't think the jellyfish are.
No.
So
there's a lot of protein in a balanced diet.
Yeah, well, some of them do eat each other.
No.
But yeah, so I fell down at this of what is the most useless animals on Earth. So as in they provide nothing to the ecosystems or the world or whatever.
Okay, so let's say sharks are top of the food chain and really important for the sea, and bees are absolutely vitally important for the whole of the planet. So this is the opposite. So pandas. They do nothing.
We love pandas. They're very beautiful, very cute. However, they do nothing. Nobody eats them. They're not part of a food chain.
Right, they've got it sorted, really.
Yeah, they barely interact with any other species, so they're not doing anything social in terms of that. And they have a hard time reproducing.
Yeah.
So they're really quite a tricky one to prove their worth, except for the fact they look amazing.
Yeah, and when they sneeze, they make up half of all internet clicks.
That, and the fact that when they poop, their poop looks like a tennis ball in their mouths.
Wow.
And I saw that in personal experience.
It swings and roundabouts, really, isn't it? When it comes to pandas.
That is worth it in terms of entertainment, perhaps. Maybe they have an entertainment value.
If it wasn't for pandas, we'd be up to our eyeballs in bamboo.
Anyway, yeah, that is true. Koalas also eat, sleep and repeat. They don't do much either. They don't give much back. Also very cute though. And
they're vicious. I've heard they're vicious.
Oh, yeah?
Anyone in Australia can let us know if they know a bit more knowledge about it. I've heard not only are they really vicious, but they've not got like some, they've not got STDs. Because they shag a lot and they actually have a lot of. Yeah, well, sexually transmitted.
This is not fact, by the way.
This is just.
But it's a great pub quiz.
Yeah, I think they've got chlamydia. Like I think, let's look. No, I'm not joking. I think something like a mad percentage of koalas have got chlamydia. So I mean, there's that.
Shall I let people that?
Yeah, you check that.
No. Sorry. Right. Okay. Anyway, we'll come back to that. And mosquitoes, they are actually, which is what I thought would be the main one. Turns out they're actually a main food source for birds, mammals, and fish. And scientists believe that if we did wipe out most of them, new breeds would come. Because they breed so fast and they are furiously mutating.
Yes.
So I mean, but that does still make them sound rubbish. Like
we've got them in the UK now. So I'm sure when I was a kid there was no mosquitoes, and then now we get like mosquito bites and stuff, and it's because of like people's luggage, and when they travel back, mosquitoes have immigrated to the UK.
I think we always had
midges.
We just always had midges were the most prolific.
Yeah.
I think we've anyway.
And midges are part of the food chain. If you ever do the West Highland Way and you literally want to breathe,
actually eat them. Wasps, great pest fighters, and so they've also got a bad rep. But they're great pest fighters. They prey on insects and parasites that wreak havoc on crops. So the farmers actually like them.
Oh, okay.
And
we need to get the same PR guy that does sharks.
Yeah,
the sharks are apparently fine. You know,
yes, well, they've been getting some good PR. You're right.
Yeah.
Some reptiles and birds feed. Because I thought ticks was that surely no one is going to fight the corner of ticks. And to be fair, not many people are. Most people are like they're rubbish. Some reptiles and birds feed on them, benefiting from the blood of larger animals. But they also spread a lot of disease because of that. But that means that they help control wild animal population. So I don't know.
Yeah, more roundabouts than swings there.
Turns out most things have some valid excuse for being here, apart from humans, which are rubbish. And all we do is wreck nature, really, isn't it? We are just one big wrecking ball. So that's
we do make a lot of really good culture and things like that.
Yeah.
Like I've not watched many panda films recently.
Valid.
Yeah.
Although I did watch them a bit in lockdown in Edinburgh Zoo. They had that camera on them.
Yeah, pandas would probably make quite good films, actually, wouldn't they?
But yeah. Anyway, so let's move on to.
What are we talking about?
I've got a nice link here, though. Hollywood's ultimate naturalist and well-known vegan, Woody Harrelson.
Oh, good, right?
So yeah, he's very into his nature and veganism and stuff. So that moves us nicely onto the first.
That wasn't so much a link; it's just mentioning Woody Harrelson in Hollywood and him being a vegan
and a naturalist.
Yeah. Okay, we'll take it as a link. On to the review. That was because Woody Harrelson is the first
Yes,
This is
he
the
is the
first film that they're doing.
protagonist of the first film.
Just trying to force this into a link, just hammering it into a link.
Yeah,
So our first review is Champions, which is on Amazon Prime and Apple TV, and it does star Woody Harrelson. Have you got the synopsis there for us?
A former minor league basketball coach, Woody Harrelson, receives a court order to manage a team of players with intellectual disabilities. Despite his doubts, he soon realizes that together they can go further than they ever imagined. This is obviously Woody Harrelson is the star of this, and it's directed by Bobby Farrelly of Dumb and Dumber, Something About Mary, and Me, Myself, and Irene. So he's got obviously a back catalogue of comedy greats.
Yeah.
So we were fairly confident this would be funny, at least.
Yeah. Do you know what was interesting about it? I was almost put off by it because I thought, oh gosh, I hope that's really good. But it just feels like a kind of film I've already seen before. You look at it, and because it's like the ragtag bunch of no-hopers, kind of misfits, that's what it looks like, and it is. You kind of go like, I feel like I know this kind of story before. And I was like really pleasantly surprised by what actually kind of unfolded with it. It didn't do the whole Mighty Ducks thing where the team all hate him for ages, and then he's not bothered.
He just had to earn the respect of one particular player.
He did, and I'm not saying it doesn't follow like certain tropes and stuff, but it just doesn't do it. Yeah, but it just doesn't do it to the boring letter that you get with a lot of it. Like it doesn't just do the Mighty Ducks again. You know, you're not like, oh my god, when is he going to win them over? When's he going to let them down? Yeah, it does it in slightly different orders, in different ways, and all the way through it. I was just kind of concerned: is it going to be quite exploitative of the special needs actors that are in it? You obviously, but the cast, like obviously they've got to find Down syndrome actors and stuff like that who are genuinely brilliant in it. Comedic timing is brilliant. I thought the stars, I thought Woody Harrelson and Caitlin Olsen really funny and actually had really good chemistry. Yeah. You were saying, like when we were talking about the age kind of difference in it, it's quite an interesting one, and it doesn't really get mentioned in it.
Yeah, it doesn't get referenced, but it's just I think they're both
younger than we know that they are as well.
It's so obvious in Hollywood; it happens all the time. It's just I kind of felt like, sounds silly, but I thought Woody Harrelson might not have accepted that as the norm. I don't know why I put him on a pedestal amongst higher than all the other men in Hollywood that are accepting that they would in real life, normal life, being normal people, get hot women that are 15 years younger than them. Yeah, because it just doesn't happen, does it? Let's be honest.
Maybe it does in America though.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I didn't find it that weird. I do know what you're talking about. The number of times that you see an older guy with a much 20 years younger, and
he's not like a catch. Like, I would get it if he was playing like an NBA top level manager. He's not. He's playing a guy who's got a DUI. And he does show some promise as a coach, but he's not a massive catch.
No, I mean, look, the storyline, as you can tell, the storyline follows as you would kind of expect it to go. But what I love is it gets right into the meat and potatoes of it really quickly, and also I don't think it's very exploitative of that storyline and just trying to lean on your tug on the heartstrings.
No, the other characters were fully formed characters. Yeah. They all had their own identity. They all had that. They were all incredibly funny in their own rights. Yeah. They were all really talented performers that I think, I haven't, this is not factual, but I suspect that they were heavily involved in the scripting and in the way that they were portrayed and the way that their characters were portrayed. And I just think it's really beautifully done.
I think it was also the fact that it's not making fun of any of the athletes or anything in it or the film in it. It's very, very positive around that scene, and from the start even his character isn't like it's not beneath him to be doing this as such. He wants to be at the NBA, he wants to but he was like, it wasn't like he doesn't come in and gets won over by the character and the resilience and such. He expects it to be there from the start. He does expect stuff like, which I thought great, and that really sped it up, and I thought made it like a much nicer film than I was expecting. And it does mention it in itself. There's a job that he gets offered. I don't want to kind of too much spoilers, but obviously there's a job he gets offered, and it's Caitlin Olsen's character kind of mentioned, is that not quite exploitative of them? We know that you're the good news story, so it's self-aware in that extent. And you know what? There's just so much lovely chemistry in it. You can just tell they've had a ball in it, and they do that lovely end sequence, which you get in films where people have genuinely had a really good time. Yeah. So I thought that was really good. I really enjoyed it. I'm gonna give it. I really liked it. I'm going to say we're changing up our grading system again.
We're reversing. I didn't like the exam paper system of ABCDs. So we're going back to the numbers. I find them. I think it's mainly me, isn't it? I find it much more clear.
Yeah.
For some reason, maybe it's a trigger from exam days. I don't know, but I like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay, well, I'm going to give it 4 G's out of 5.
What did I say I was giving it?
You said 3.
3. Okay. 3, but I really enjoyed it. I think, I think it's well worth a watch. So yeah.
Okay, well there you are. Well, that was that one then. So next up, though, you didn't watch. We watched that one together, but we didn't watch Mandalorian together.
No.
Which I'll stick up here now.
We had some time apart this week. I was up in the Highlands, and we were in Birmingham.
Yeah.
So we watched some stuff separately.
So Mandalorian Series 3, it's obviously the Star Wars universe that's being continued. I've got my synopsis here. So it's like American space western series created by Jon Favreau, Monica's millionaire boyfriend from Friends.
Amongst many others.
Yeah, no, he's much more famous for it. But like, I just always, even me not being the biggest Friends, I mean, I do like Friends. But I still go like, he's Monica's millionaire boyfriend. Yeah. So it's streaming on Disney Plus. It's the 3rd season, and it sees Pedro Pascal return as the title character, a bounty hunter, traveling to Mandalore to redeem his past transgressions with his adopted son Grogu, who looks like a wee baby Yoda. Fantastic for merchandise and toys in that market. So look, I mean, it's a space western. This series is coming for a little bit more stick because I think people kind of feel like it's departed a little bit from its original. The first series it felt very much like Clint Eastwood style. I mean, the character was based on Clint Eastwood, the cape and the gun, their sharpshooting. The whole thing is like, the core of what Star Wars was, and really kind of refined to become like a Western series. Interesting enough, this season is a little bit different for me. It was more like a kind of Braveheart story. It's more about a redemption of them regaining their homeland. So, and I don't think everyone's liked it, but people seem to really struggle to place on why it's not been quite as good, or they felt like it's departed a little bit from the original series. There's been like loads of guest celebrities appearing in it. I said to you that I didn't even realise, because I didn't know what she looked like.
Oh, Lizzo!
But Lizzo, appeared in it, along with Jack Black and Christopher Lloyd, people like that. There's like loads of these kind of cameo appearances that people really enjoyed, but it felt a wee bit kind of campy and a bit kind of like there was a lot of Star Wars holiday specials and stuff like that when this Star Wars universe has been pretty much bastardized and pulled about, and I think this was a cool series, and it maybe kind of took people out of it a little bit. For me, I was a bit like, Black.
Well, we love Ed Sheeran, but we didn't like Ed Sheeran and Game of Thrones really.
Yeah, a lot of people at jarred with when these celebrities suddenly appear. Like it
feels a little bit.
There's Ed Sheeran in Game of Thrones,
especially when these series have made it their thing to cast unknowns in comics. Like both of those franchises have made it a really big deal that they will cast unknowns in the main characters.
Yeah.
So to suddenly throw in humongous celebrities like Ed Sheeran and Lizzo.
Their personalities are big, and if their characters can't match that, and I think that was the problem with these. Ed Sheeran's character doesn't match. It's just a guy playing a better song because it's just Ed Sheeran. And I think this was quite similar when Jack Black and Lizzo appear. They're a king and queen, and they're very frumpy, and it was funny. It was kind of, I don't know, I enjoyed it, but it did take me out of that.
Black makes slightly more sense because he's an actor. But Lizzo and Ed Sheeran and that kind of thing, I think people really
Ed Sheeran's not in this now.
Sorry, I just mean that as a Anyway, right. So what are you giving it?
Look, I think the other big problem is that the Mandalorians and stuff are like
the Madalorian.
Oh yeah, Madalorian. Okay.
Jerry's spelling mistake of the second.
Madalorian.
I quite like that, Madalorian.
Yeah, let's just pretend that was correct, because it is mad in a way, the Madalorian. So people that are listening on Spotify, it's my spelling for these banners has gone wrong again here. But like the Mandalorian, I think maybe he's quite a difficult character to like empathize with, because he is just this faceless mask thing. Some of them are like religious zealots, some of them are just bounty hunting mercenaries, so then trying to get their home world back maybe as the main story rather than an episode or part of it may be quite difficult for people to kind of click with.
Okay, everyone so what are you giving it?
You had enough of this, yeah?
Yeah, come on.
It's alright. Look, I still really like it, but I'm a wee bit this series not quite as good as the rest. I'm going to give it 3.5 Gs.
Okay, so just double that because I have not seen it. So it's on 7.
Disney Plus, and you're going to give that 7 in total. This we need to really refine this. We need to.
I like this. So 7 out of 10. That's very clear. Okay, so the next one we are talking about is a Man Called Otto.
Yeah.
Which is Tom Hanks' latest offering. It's on Amazon if you're looking for it. And I'll give you the synopsis here. When a lively young family moves in next door, grumpy widower Otto Anderson meets his match in a quick-witted, pregnant woman named Madalorian, leading to an unlikely friendship that turns his world upside down. So it's based on a book called A Man Called Otto.
Very clever. They don't get sued.
They changed the name Otto to Otto when they relocated it to America because it was originally set in Sweden. And
is it just about Tom Hanks with cats? Because I tried to get some pictures for the images over here, and all I could find is just like loads of Tom Hanks with cats kind of stuff. So please tell me the cat is quite important.
Well, the cat is important, but really no, actually,
right.
The cat is. I think they probably thought that when they were making it that the cat was more important, and actually, really, what turns out to be more important is that this is a really sensitive film. It's very Tom Hanksy. Is the best way. If you liked Philadelphia, if you liked Forrest Gump, you'll like this film. It's
you said that it might be the most Tom Hanksy film.
Yeah, it really is. It's sort of it's a sensitive take on a man who has what is now called Asperger's.
Yeah.
So he struggles with social tendencies that people call him grumpy because they don't understand the way he sees the world. But he eventually becomes empathetic through the close bond that he develops with this family that move in next door. And she is an absolute shining light in this film, and kind of really pushes on the energy of this film, which I think might fall a little bit flat without her in it. So his character is very literal towards rules, towards regulations, likes following everything by the letter, and it brings him into conflict with basically everybody in the film, his neighbours, people he sees at shop, and he's also struggling, this key part, with grief. His wife has died within the last year, and it's a really fascinating look at how those two things really do not like sort of having someone who's very literal and based in facts and life, and when you have something like grief, which is so almost ethereal, it's not the right word, but it's so kind of moving and organic, and when these two things collide, it's about that struggle, and it doesn't sort of spell that out, but that's basically what it's about. So it is a really interesting look at that. And it's a lovely film. It really is a really nice film, but it's very Tom Hanksy. So if you're in the mood for that kind of a film, go for it.
What do you think? What makes a Tom Hanksy film? What are we talking about? What's a Tom Hanksy film? What does it need to be?
So it needs to have a moral compass and current.
Is it a central character as well? It's a bit of a kind of a hero that can't be kept down. I'm thinking Forrest Gump, Philadelphia.
Yes,
is this not?
But those films, he always picks. He's got a real knack of picking a character that has something which is relevant and very contemporary in the zeitgeist. So for this one, like, autism is a huge sort of thing in society at the moment, and everyone's sort of trying to sort of talk about it in sensitive ways, and so he's done that with this film, it feels very current, even though the film is shot in a way that it could be at any time.
And do they achieve that in an entertaining way? It doesn't feel like a kind of not a preachy look at it. It's like an entertaining story in its own right.
Yes,
because I'm not being convinced by
that. That's what I mean. That I think is maybe the part that's lacking. It's not going to go into the realm of classic film Tom Hanksy in the same way that Forrest Gump did, in the same way that Philadelphia did.
Okay.
However, it is still a really, really good film that has a purpose and has an interesting take on life and contemporary life.
Because there's some films I kind of see with Tom Hanks in it now, and I go like, oh god, can't be bothered with that. I know it's going to be really good, but this feels like almost like Terminal. When I saw Terminal, was about a guy who got stuck in immigration, and that felt like again, you're right, like on the money for like what was a contemporary theme of national identity and people being stuck in migration and what have you, and someone being stuck there because of the political system, and I'm like, do I want to watch this? I've got to be in the right mood for it. But then you watch it, and you didn't need to be in the mindset that you needed. Is this a similar kind of vibe to
and
that?
you come away having thought about things that you hadn't thought about before. So from that perspective, I think it's very effective. But it's not something you're going to come out of and be like, oh, that blew my mind. You're just going to be, it's a slow burn. And it's something that I think you would think about afterwards, and so I would recommend it. I think it's really worth a watch, and you will enjoy it. I'm not saying you won't enjoy it. It's just it's not kind of. We're about to come onto a film which is a little added extra for this week, which really blew us away.
Oh, we're going to do that? I wasn't quite sure.
Yeah.
Right, well, we need to give us your rating for this thing, because we'll need to wrap it up.
Crack on really quick.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's
We'll give you a rating for Man Called Otto.
Yes.
3.5. Oh, you didn't say that earlier on. You've just changed it on me.
Oh, did it 4? Did I give it 4?
You give it 4.
Give it 4. I'm going to give it 4.
Okay, you can give it 3. I've changed it now.
Oh, okay. 3.5 or 4.
Right. It's either a 3.5 or 4.
So it's either a 7.
So I'm glad we've sorted out this rating system.
Good.
Thanks for that.
So we're just going to do really quickly. We're going to talk about Triangle of Sadness, aren't we?
Yeah, but I think we've run out of time now. We're going to have to. But look, there's another Woody Harrelson film. It's on Prime. But just wanted to give everyone a wee heads up. We watched it last night, and I was really blown away by it. I really absolutely loved it. Triangle of Sadness is on Amazon Prime, and it's a hilarious pop at the super rich. Elitism on a luxury
privilege, political systems, caste,
social media, just the way
power.
people are posing in front of social media, and it's done in a very, very, very shockingly humorous way.
Yes.
With a brilliant cast, and again, another great choice from Woody Harrelson in it. But a fantastic ensemble cast.
Yeah, he's not really the main character in that by any stretch of the imagination. He does a funny bit, and then he disappears. But it won the Palme d'Or, so that's always worth watching out for. It's gross at points, really, really super gross, really, really super funny, but also an absolute takedown of elitism and
and about social societies, whether it's capitalism, socialism, and stuff like that. But really kind of points out the haves and have-nots society and what we're doing, and then what happens when those break down. Really, in a really fun and brilliantly directed way. Real international flavour to it. So I don't. Maybe we do get to review that later on, but just wanted to give you a heads up, really, because it's so good.
Watch it. That's enough of a review. I think it's the winner of the week from my perspective. That's my pick of the week.
A new segment. Right, okay, next week we need to get it over
next week, let's go. Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Amongst Thieves,
which is on Prime.
Black comedy Apple TV series Bad Sisters, starring Sharon Horgan and Anne-Marie Duff, and The Artifice Girl, which is a sci-fi film about AI hunting down online predators.
And that's on Prime and Apple TV as well, isn't it? Thank you very much for joining us. If you've enjoyed it, please do like and subscribe on YouTube. Tell your friends, and maybe even support us on Patreon. We'll be back next week with all the reviews that you suggested. We'll see you then.
Bye.
Cheerio.